Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to my podcast. My name is Lynette. Today we're going to talk about fear. And I don't mean the fear that's legitimate, that's valid, that's real. There's something absolutely scary or threatening that's coming into your life. But we're going to focus more on the fear that comes to your mind, that your own brain seems to sabotage your goals when you're attempting something. And you can't help but to wonder why you do that, why you don't choose to flip it over and go the opposite way and think and know that everything is going to work out to your advantage. A common fear that a lot of people have is stage fright. And I think part of that is because they build it up in their head. I shouldn't say they. I think everybody has a little bit of performance anxiety as far as going in front of people and doing public speaking or acting or whatever. But for the most part, if we were focusing and staying in the present moment and took it minute by minute, second by second, there wouldn't be that fear. But our brains seem to build it into something that's bigger. And for some reason, I don't know why, but I think we subconsciously go to a negative outcome, and that's what creates the fear. So the whole focus point would be turning your mind, flipping it, so it has a positive outcome, therefore creating excitement about going out and performing because you know it's going to be fun, you know it's going to work out to your advantage, you know the people are going to love it. So let's talk a little bit about how you achieve that. Let's take athletes, for example. It's a common practice that they visualize the outcome as being a positive one. Take basketball, for example. They picture the ball going into the net. And that's pretty much how it is in life with all of our outcomes. We have to actually visualize and know and see the outcome being in our favor. I learned this actually in a very young age. My girlfriend and I were playing some sort of game where you throw the ball into a bucket. And I remember saying to her, every time I say I'm not going to make it, I don't make it. And the other times I do make it. I didn't understand what I was talking about at that time because I was pretty young, but that's pretty much how it is in life. Letting fear take over and letting it be in a negative way can sabotage you from reaching your goals, from taking a step further, from going up that extra rung on the ladder. Even now, I know I've talked to you many times about how I'm having trouble with mobility, and I will picture myself standing up. And I do well then when I actually try to accomplish it. If I get a negative thought or a negative mode, I mean that fast, we're talking like 30 seconds before I attempt to make this move, I have a bad time. I have trouble doing it. So in turning our thoughts around, first of all, if you've listened to previous episodes, you know that I believe firmly and strongly in the spiritual aspect of life. I don't think it's just us as human beings walking and accomplishing and exercising and doing our thing. I think it's body, mind, and spirit. And I think your spirit has to be healthy and in a place where it knows within yourself, within your whole being, that you're going to do whatever it is you're trying to do and you're going to do it well. I believe that an exercise that we need to do within ourselves is being in the present moment. Because if you're in the present moment, there is no fear. You're only doing, you're only being. And then there's a visualization. When you have time and when you're doing your meditation, visualize accomplishing that goal that you have, that you carry, that you want. And it would be no surprise at all that you're going to reach that goal. I know you'll reach that goal. And when you do reach that goal, believe it or not, there is always another goal beyond it. But don't overwhelm yourself by thinking about too many goals at one time. Reach one. And when you think you've reached the peak, then take that step further. And always do it with an attitude, knowing that you can do it. Have it within your spirit. Have it within your body. Have it within your being. It's time to turn our thoughts around. We have a choice. It's a 50-50 choice. We can think of anything, whether it be an outcome, whatever, as turning out bad or turning out good. So why don't we choose for it to turn out good? I don't know, was it our programming growing up? Or is it the knocks that life has given us? It doesn't matter what it was. It's never too late to, for lack of a better word, I'm going to say, reprogram yourself. Life can be and will be enjoyed so much better. Mind flips to the positive, to the knowing that the outcome is going to be good. And therefore, fear may try to come in. We're all human, but I think we need to use the tools that we're given to combat it as quickly and the best to our ability. Because we don't have time to worry about things, emotions like fear. We want to focus on the goal that we are trying to achieve. That's where all of our energy needs to be. And so I think just working on yourself, just following those few aspects of life, meditating, visualizing yourself reaching your goals. Walk in the spirit, knowing within your entire being that you're going to achieve whatever it is you're trying to achieve. And every time your mind tries to think of a negative outcome, I don't care what you're doing, flip it. Flip it until it becomes second nature to you to flip your thinking into a positive flow. And I believe as time goes on and we do that enough, that will become who we are. Not who we were, but who we are. And that is a positive person. And when you're positive, and when you're doing everything else that goes without saying, really the exercising, the eating correctly, but also adding in the spiritual part, the thinking, the turning your thoughts into positivity, the visualization. I believe you can and will achieve anything. I believe this with all my heart. As I mentioned in an earlier episode, life doesn't have to be hard. It can be fun and exciting. But the biggest the biggest gift is, it can be simple. And by that, I mean, when you train your thoughts, your brain, to always have the best outcome, you enjoy doing everything because you're not consumed by fear. You're not consumed by fear. You're not consumed by a negative outcome. You just know that everything is going to be good. And it's like, do you ever see people that you say, wow, everything works out good for them. They get everything. They achieve everything. And actually, I bet if you were to talk to that person, they don't spend their time thinking in negative outcomes. They spend their time building their confidence and knowing that the outcome is going to be good. And I think as you start to see things unfold, things taking place in a more positive way, and you taking the step and things are getting better and better, then your confidence will build and it domino effects. You know, you have a better frame of mind, which causes better outcomes, which causes more confidence. And that cycle goes on, and that's a positive cycle because you can have a negative spiral cycle or you can have a positive forward cycle. So the biggest thing that those people have that maybe you don't is simply their outlook on life, is simply believing that they can do it. And I'm so excited that life can be simple. Oh my gosh, it's like, I think I used to make it so hard that it was exhausting. But it doesn't have to be exhausting. It can be fun and exciting. And you don't need to think about these negative thoughts. You don't need to think about past failures because they're gone, they're done. And every time you retrain your thoughts, every time you retrain your brain, you're not that same person anymore. So be who you are with this new attitude, not who you were. Yes, we've all had things happen to us, but it doesn't matter because they're over. So the only thing that matters is the steps we're taking right now. You know, in growing up, my mother was very positive, and she would always talk about thinking positive. She was always saying, you can be whatever you want to be. But for me, it was just jibber jabber, and it's just lip service. I felt like that's what she learned. It was almost like a lesson because I didn't feel it in my heart. And it's taken all this time to fully grasp it and fully understand that it is real and life can change dramatically just by changing your thoughts and not letting the past failures or past mistakes or past anything creep in, because the past is just that. It is the past. And work on changing your thoughts and flipping them to a more positive. And really, sky's the limit. All that stuff that you put away, that you put down, that you said to yourself, oh, it's too hard or I won't achieve it. Go for it again. Get it out. Because why not you? Why somebody else? Why not you? We are all equal. We have the same abilities. So I'm going to close with saying, why not you? And I hope you will take a second look at anything that you thought was too difficult, too hard, because it's not. You can accomplish it. You can do anything. You can be anything. And if it does take a few twists and turns, if you are a spiritual person and you go with the flow and you don't let life get too difficult, you'll know that turn and where you landed is right where you're supposed to be. I feel like there's more I want to say to you. I'm feeling a heaviness that I want to get more out. It's taken me, and like I said, I was raised with it. It's taken me a very long time for positive thoughts, positive way of life, making life a little bit more simple. It's taken me a very long time to really grasp the reality of it. And even so, I may be on the fringes of grasping it. And each day, maybe I need to take another step. You don't know until you get there. You don't know what's behind where you're going until you reach where you're going, and then you take a step further. With all that being said, I hope you get a new excitement for life. I hope you realize it doesn't have to be hard. Try your best to stay in the present moment, and that keeps the negative thoughts, negative emotions away. Just be you, because you're perfect just the way you are. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.